Hello, hello, everyone.
Hello. Everyone.
Welcome to the Nursing School Show. Hi, thanks for joining us. What are we talking about today? Everyone, comment below.
Nursing
what would
school
you like
is toxic.
to talk about today?
That's the question we have this morning.
Yes,
for starters.
That is
because we haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, that's a good one to talk about. Everyone, if you guys have nursing school questions, go ahead and pop them in the comments below. We will get to them. A question that was asked last week it's not really a question. It's more like a statement that you want to address or talk through or see if anyone else feels this way. So go ahead and pop in the comments whether you feel that nursing school is toxic and why.
And why.
Hi, follow up and why.
Hello from
So be sure to let us know, and that's the first topic we'll go through and talk about. Nursing school is toxic, or is nursing school toxic, or have you heard nursing school is toxic?
I've heard it over and over and over again. Who else has?
Yes.
You guys heard this?
Also, while you're doing that, let us know where you're joining from. We like hearing where you guys are joining from.
Yes. Really, I like the whole conversation of nursing school being toxic.
Mm-hmm.
I was giving this a lot of thought a couple of weeks ago. Not this specific question, but kind of the idea that, like you guys, if you feel like nursing school is hard, it's not your fault. Like really, it's not your fault. I feel like we're just in a system that's just so broken, and kind of what I've noticed. Okay, sorry, Instagram. I forgot to turn off my phone. That happens. We're just in this system where nurses are burned out, and then when they get burned out, they go teach nursing. And then when they go teach nursing, they teach nursing students that nursing is the worst. And you're going to be burned out forever and ever. Because they're burned out. That's been their experience. Have you guys noticed this? It's like a cycle. And so I think the whole nursing school is toxic topic has to start there. That it's like just this whole system.
And on Instagram, Nana, here my final year, and I've decided to no longer be a nurse. So is that related to this topic, or is it not related? And I'd like to jam on that a little bit too. So let us know a little bit more on, if you don't mind, why you no longer decided to be a nurse.
Why? Actually, I'm curious, especially after you've gone all through nursing school and now deciding not to be. Now, I will say, this is actually really important.
Okay, actually, the teachers are really the best part. Oh, that's great.
That's good.
That's good.
So what's the worst part? The content? Shannon, good morning from sunny Florida. Shannon,
Florida.
can I move in?
We still have 20 snow
degrees
here.
We do. Fun. Yeah, except
Christina's a little over it.
I did look at the weather forecast. Okay, you guys, backstory. I love the snow. I really do. But for the appropriate months of the year. And this season has just been like, we've had snow since October, and it's been continued, and it's now April. So this is like 6 months of the year, half of the year where it's been 20 degrees.
It's been a long winter, and I believe that's not specific here. I think nationwide, right, or even worldwide, it's been a long winter.
Has it been a long winter?
I think everyone's just about done. Let us know whether you are done and ready for spring / summer. Whether we'll just skip spring and go straight to summer.
I did see in our weather forecast, though, next week it's going to be like 50 and even could be 60 degrees here. So Goodbye, snow.
Oh, Perth.
Shannon says
Australia.
Rent for tutoring. Good plan. I like it. I've never been to Florida, to be honest with you.
So, Nana, you mentioned that it's really the interest of working, so just decided not to work in the nursing field any longer. And you know what? That's what I did want to touch on. So we'll be talking about why there's the topic of nursing school is toxic. So let us know if you think that you've heard it or that you feel like nursing school is toxic. But also, kind of a side tangent that I just want to throw out there, Nana, if you decide that you get through all nursing school and decide that that's not the career for you, that's fine too. Sometimes people get stuck in that, oh, I did this, now I have to push through with it, and that could lead to that toxic environment, right?
Right.
So if you decided not to work, then, or if you decided that nursing school or nursing is not your career of choice after going through it, that's totally fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a really good point on this, I think, that you might just want to consider is that there are so many different specialties in nursing, and like so many that you don't, like, no one has ever even heard about. So it's like you have so many different options, and just, I would caution you not to like leave it entirely. Just to like make sure you explore the options first.
Yeah, so this is really good information, Nana. Thank you for sharing. Here we start going out to the hospital from first year. The nurses here don't motivate us at all. Shifts are dreadful, and we don't get more than a month here, so so we don't get to be something. So
I think there's a second part to that.
Probably comment. A second part to that. So
individual anymore. I see. Nana, where are you living? Are you in Australia? I'm curious because that sounds an awful lot like the Australian system. In nursing school here in the U.S., typically you start in a long-term care facility. You don't usually start in a hospital, which is why I say that. But that's not the case in Australia, from what I have heard. So there are just so many different avenues. Like, I mean, think of what we do. Like, I mean, we run a business. I'm a nurse, and we run a business online. But I'm a nurse. So there are so many different, and we hire nurses too. It's pretty wild because we hire nurses to help us with our membership community. We hire nurses to write content for us and to help us help our students. And so there's so many different avenues.
Yeah, and I think that is something that is often overlooked, is that we have this idea going into things, right? And this is nursing school in general, but also specifically what we're talking about. And more generally, even than that, just life. We go into things.
Just life.
We go into things with expectations, right? Or expectations put on us. Okay, this is what a nurse is supposed to be. A nurse is supposed to work in a hospital from whatever, 9 to 5 or 8 to whatever, 12-hour shifts.
9 to 5, yeah.
Again, not a
That's
nurse.
That's a joke.
But your 12 shifts or what have you. But there's these expectations about what a nurse is and how a nurse should work.
Yep.
And, or more generally, how you should act in certain situations, etc. So there are expectations placed on you. And one thing to realize is, or think through, is whether those are accurate or whether there are other ways to do things, which a lot of times there are. So, again, if the hospital environment is not right for you, that's great. There are other avenues. So just be open to that.
Yep.
Again, if you get to the end of that road and decide that nursing in its entirety is not for you, that's a different road too, and that's fine too.
Yeah. Sarah, good morning. You asked, do I ever see myself going back to bedside? So I yes and no. I got a job last year because I wanted to. And I go through phases like this where I want to. But then I didn't. So I got hired.
We also have different phases of life. We talk about this a lot. Nursing school is a phase of life, and it's only a part of life. So if you're in a valley right now, or it's really tough right now, don't worry. It is a season, and you can push through it. And I think Christina feels like that there are seasons where she feels like she may want to go back or may not. And
yeah, because I think it's fun. Depends. Like, I really like it. Like, I mean, I am not really a 12-hour shift person. I like 8-hour shifts. So I do like, I also do tend to skew toward more community nursing. I really like with the hospitals. This is also what I see like with the whole toxic nursing kind of culture, is that nurses get really burned out seeing the same patients over and over again. And that it's frustrating when you do so much and you want to help people. But you can't make people help themselves. If that makes sense, like you can't do it for them. And I really personally, so Nana, this might help you. If you're not if you don't like the hospital environment, like, I totally get that. I personally like more community nursing where you can, or like holistic nursing where you actually come alongside someone and help them legitimately change their life. You know, you could be a nurse coach. Like, you can come alongside people, someone with diabetes or someone who just had a heart transplant or, you know, whatever, and walk them through that season of life. Be an advocate for them, help them, you know, really help them overcome a lot of their barriers. Like, there's just so many options. And so, like, that actually, to me, like, that makes my heart sing. I also really love babies. So I could definitely see, I've considered, like, periodically going back and getting my nurse practitioner one day. Matthew's
maybe.
like,
We'll see.
One day.
Yeah.
One day, maybe. It was just like Matthew said, seasons.
Yeah, there are seasons, and
yeah,
the season where we're at right now is
not that.
Not that.
Definitely not that. Hello, good morning, guys.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. Let us know if you have any questions too. Right now, we are talking about toxicity in nursing school. Nursing school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
Nana mentioned that actually one of the best things about their program is nursing, or the nursing school teachers, which is really great. That's
that's really good.
What we hear a lot, so that is really great. So if you guys feel that it is toxic, what parts of it are toxic? Maybe that's another good question to ask, is really where is that coming from? Because again, like we were talking about, there's expectations, and you have this need, or it's put upon you that you need to meet these expectations, but sometimes that's not really the case, and sometimes really a better mindset will go a long way to make yourself feel better. Again, this is just a phase to get through nursing school and to thrive in nursing school. So just what can we do to help you get through nursing school?
Shannon, that's so great. You just started pediatric home care. That's another one, Nana. So I have known, I have friends who do that home care for pediatric patients, for children, and it's so great, and they love it. They absolutely love it. Which is so great, because then you're just with the one patient at a time, and they get your full undivided attention. It's really great. So there are so many different avenues. Just for everyone, for all of you in nursing school, like, just don't put yourself in a box. If a med-surg floor is not for you, like, don't fall for the lie that you have to start in a med-surg floor. Like, that's just not true. Come on, people. Like, you can do so much. You can do anything you want. You really can. It's just, you just have to figure out what jives best with you. Whether that's working in a clinic, whether that's home care, whether that's long-term care. We just had a member that's like, you know what? I don't want to do med-surg. Hospice is my thing. Fabulous. Like, hospice, pediatric care. Do you want to work on a NICU? Do you want to be a midwife? Like, go to people's homes and help them have babies. I mean, there's just so many different avenues in nursing that you can do, which is just, I think it's one of the best careers in that aspect, because there are just so many different options. Like, you don't go to, like, I don't know, become an engineer, and I don't know what engineering jobs are. I don't know. Maybe there are 1,000, but it seems like you go build bridges or something. I don't know. Obviously, Christina doesn't know things. But it's just such a great career for that reason. And the whole, like, toxicity that comes with it, I think stems a lot from that, when we put ourselves in a box and we say, you have to do this or you have to do that. Because, how often do you guys hear that from other nurses, other instructors, everyone, who say you have to start, like, on a med-surg floor before you can do anything else, Yeah, is it true you need a year of med-surg experience after you graduate before you can obtain a job outside the hospital? No. That's not true. And I just think that that's part of the toxicity, that you get so many other people's opinions, and oftentimes it's just their opinions. It's just people's
very
opinions.
Overwhelming when a lot of people are telling you what you need to do in order to
succeed
or be a nurse, or get finish the path that you're on.
Mm-hmm.
It's very overwhelming when they say, "Oh, you have to do A, B, C, D. You have to have a year of what is it, bedside?"
Yeah, year of bedside or a year of med surg experience. That's really what you hear.
Yeah. So
yeah,
again, it's overwhelming, and yeah, it can feel toxic, right? Like oh, you have to jump through all these hoops in order to do what you want to do.
Yes. And then it doesn't feel good for you because you're like, if med surg is not your thing, and now you're staring at a year of med surg nursing after you graduate because that's what everyone's told you have to do. Like, that's not gonna. There's no joy in that, right? You're not gonna be like super stoked about it, and then you could go on that floor and have kind of a bad attitude, which then just kind of spirals everything. You don't want that. Yeah. That's not helpful for anyone. Yeah. Where do you see a lot of new grads gravitating for, and is there specific positions you recommend for new grads to assist with learning and getting a grasp for you to find a specialty? So actually, the biggest one that we see in our membership community, because we talk about it all the time, is labor and delivery. That is by far the number one that people want to do. Labor and delivery. I mean, I half get it. I mean, we've had children. This is not really my thing. As far as, like, getting experience, it depends on where you want to work. Mm-hmm. If you want to work in a clinic, or in community health, or if, you want to be an epidemiology nurse, probably starting on a med-surg floor is not for you. But if you want to be a flight nurse, or an ICU nurse, or even if you want to work in a NICU or more like critical care in the ER, then med-surg might be where you want to start. Actually, you can just start in an ER. You can, if the hospital trains you properly. Mm-hmm. I would say the only thing that would be, like, ICU could be tough just starting in an ICU. The other one that's really tough is being a float nurse. If you want to be a float and go all the different departments, like, you have to know the different departments. So you really, it's just easier for you. It's better for your patients, easier for you if you have that experience already. So, because float nurses around a hospital, at least in the US, what float nurses do is they go to all the different floors. So one day you could be on a med-surg floor, one day you could be in the ER. It's wherever they need you. Oncology, pediatrics, labor and delivery. Like, you float everywhere around the hospital. That's your job. In order to do that, like, if that's your goal, in order to do that, you do need experience in those different departments. Does that make sense? So you have to actually think of what you want to do. Mm-hmm. Now, if med-surg is not your thing, then start somewhere else. You don't have to pigeonhole yourself into something that you don't want to do just because you think, perhaps mistakenly, that it's going to get you somewhere that it actually doesn't.
And if you don't even know what you want to do, that's fine too. That's one of the things that we talk about, right? When you are in nursing school and going into clinicals, try everything.
Yeah, be open to everything.
Be open to everything. You might have, again, a preconceived notion of, this is what I want to do when you enter nursing school, and it might be an entirely different picture when you exit nursing school. Yes. So be very open to all the experiences and all the different clinical experiences that you can have, and try everything, volunteer for everything, just kind of get a good overall picture of what each of these positions I guess specialties entail. And who knows, you might find one that you never thought that you'd like, but once you're in clinical in that specialty, you decide, you know what, this is not at all what I thought, and this is what I want to do. Yeah. But you'll never know that unless you try and you go around and you really do your best and put your all into all your clinical.
Yes. You said you were interested in wound care, Sarah. So yeah, and wound care is so interesting. A lot of specialties like that, just like what we talked about. I mean, you could be a home care wound nurse, or you could be a clinic wound nurse, or you could be a hospital wound nurse. Like, you get to pick. There's jobs all over the place. So you get to decide and then look at the steps you need to take in order to make that happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Jamaica.
Jamaica!
Awesome.
Nice.
We do have some options, but they aren't as many as there.
As in the U.S.? Yeah. I think I want to see what is available after graduating. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yep.
And again, just keep your mind open and think about possibilities of what you could do, or maybe possibilities that aren't even available yet but could be.
That you could create.
When we started this company back in the day, it's been a little while. It's been a second, but
yep,
there weren't that many people in this space. Even.
I mean, Instagram was not even really a thing. TikTok didn't even exist. I think it was still Musical.ly. I mean, what? Yeah. I mean, so we basically like helped to pioneer this movement of like Etsy shops and stuff. Like, it's amazing what you can create. You know, when you start something that, you know, you want to do, you'll just be amazed.
So definitely see what's out there and see what's available, or see what's even possible to be available.
Yes. Because you can create your own thing. Do it. Starting in step down, but really wanted ER, and step down is going to help you so much in the ER. Yeah. So I would not see that as, and step down's so cool too. Like, you're going to learn so much. I would definitely, make sure that you, and if, like you said, if you end up in a place, in a department, a specialty that's not really your super jam, like, just make sure you are there to learn as much as you can.
Yeah, and that's something else that we talk a lot about in the membership and on our lives and on our YouTubes, is really mindset. And what is your mindset going into things? If going way back to our first topic, if your mindset is, oh, nursing school is toxic, even before going into nursing school, or every time you go to class, you just have that in the back of your mind, oh, nursing school is toxic. That's not a very good place to be, to learn and to grow and to become a nurse, right?
Yes.
So what mindset do you want to have the best experience possible too?
100%. There was a really good question that I thought I missed, but I can't really scroll up that far. I'm currently just pushing through as it relates to the toxicity of nursing school. A lot of selfish students and nurses treat us like we're just in the way. And that's really the thing. That's what I was saying, is that I think oftentimes, here's the other thing, like, everyone's just stressed in nursing school. Like, everyone's just stressed. And when people are stressed, they say things they shouldn't, or things they didn't mean to, or do things they shouldn't, or do things they didn't mean to. And that's just part of it. There's just things we have to let roll off. Nursing school can be very stressful. So it really is that, where I do think it is kind of that culture of stress and overwhelm and burnout that everyone's kind of in. And then when you get everyone all together in a group, it just kind of festers. And everyone feels like where you can cut the air with a knife, you know?
There's a saying
cut the stress with the knife.
Just thought about, but it's a common saying for a reason. It's like, misery loves company.
Misery loves company.
Right? And so if someone's miserable for some odd reason, they want everyone around them to be miserable.
Yes.
And it is up to you and your mindset to say, you know what? No.
I don't want to do that. I'm not going to be that way or act that way.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we get that, and we hear that a lot, like other nurses, while you're in clinical or what have you, or even teachers, they make you feel like you are in the way, or that you are just an obstacle, or, oh, you have to be here because of nursing school. Okay, fine, but just get out of my way, right? And
not helpful.
Yeah, that is not helpful, and that is not helpful for you learning either. So, are there any tips and tricks beyond that? And I think
I always say show up late or right on time for your exams, so that you don't have to talk to anybody.
Well, for your exams, that's fine. That's true.
For sure.
I think just how to be helpful, or how to see the positive in things, and see what you are learning anyway. So it is kind of on you to pick up the slack a little bit, maybe. And
it's not kind of on you. It is on you.
It is on you to.
Matthew's being nice.
Pick up the slack, and
I'm more sassy.
To learn. Learning is on you. So
yeah. And I think, it really is that. Okay, here's a nice perspective shift. So I think that so often we forget just how blessed we are. I was just talking about this yesterday on Instagram. When I was in nursing school, there was a student who had cancer and had to step back from a term, and I think it was multiple terms actually, because that's what she was battling. She was battling cancer in nursing school, and so she stepped out, came back, and it's one of those things where when you go through something like that, you actually know what's important in life, and stressing in nursing school was not important. And she was the most fantastic student, not because her grades were good necessarily, but because her attitude was stellar. Because when you have a perspective shift like that, it changes everything. And isn't that just so fascinating that we can go from being super stressed out, and then all of a sudden something happens, we have something crazy happen in life. Like, I mean, there's crazy things always that happen in nursing school, right? Deaths in the family. We've had students, having babies, or having to take a term off because of health reasons, or other family member health reasons, it happens all the time. When you have experiences like that, or when the Holy Spirit taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, you get a better attitude, obviously, Jesus is nicer than I am. It really changes your perspective. It really changes your perspective on life and on nursing school and what is important. And is stressing and being overwhelmed and just frazzled in nursing school, is that really a good way to live? No, it's really not. Especially after you have experiences like that. And what I think is so fascinating is that's always available to us. And isn't it interesting that we can be stressed and super overwhelmed and all that in nursing school, and then have a trauma or an event or something that happens that changes it? But the only thing that really changed is how we're thinking about it. That's the only thing, right? Like, nursing school didn't change. It's just how you're thinking about nursing school that changed. And I just find that so, so interesting. So you can always, always change your attitude or how you're thinking about it. And don't have to be stressed all the time. Doesn't have to be toxic. Let it be toxic for everyone else. Doesn't have to be toxic for you. Is that jive? I'm seeing a lot of hearts. So, I hope that made sense. Okay. I once had a nurse that was not about having a student shadow. Spoke with her and asked her how I can make her job a little bit easier. And by the end of the shift, we became really close. And that is exactly what you want to do. Like, how can I help you?
How can I help you? Mm-hmm. I like that.
How can I help? I am here to help. Mm-hmm. 100%. Yes, that's the question you need to be asking your nurses. Yes.
Yeah, how can I help? How can I...
Yep.
Appear not to be a bother, I guess.
How can I appear not to be a bother? Yes. That's funny, though. How can I help you? Yeah, for sure. Okay, Matthew, what are we talking about on Wednesday?
On Wednesday?
Probably NCLEX practice questions and critical thinking.
Yes, so someone just asked.
And burnout. Burnout is a really common thing.
Yeah, the other part that we didn't get to, which, again, has some similarities to mindset and things like that, is burnout. Mm-hmm. And we hear a lot about people getting burnt out and how not to get burnt out and how do you remain sane and all of these things. If you feel like that, or if you've heard that around on the grapevine in nursing school, I think we'll talk about that and preventing burnout and just again more mindset things around that. And then also Renee did ask about the NCLEX. We do know that it is now April, right?
Ta-da!
Yes. So
congratulations to
April
everyone.
And happy NGN. So
happy NGN.
Here we go.
We should have had a party. We did.
So we'll definitely talk about the NCLEX and critical thinking questions for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, my friends, we will see you on Wednesday. Today we are posting a YouTube video on what now?
Ooh, Tara.
exams.
We
how to
are
pass your
wrapping up, but
exams.
just want to read this real quick. Had to step back this semester, and we'll be petitioning to get back into nursing school in the
Good.
fall. Awesome, great. I'm starting the
PCT position
soon. Any advice on how to move forward?
So yeah, let's talk about that on Wednesday, Tara, because I mean, if you have failed a nursing school term, that's it will, if you let it, that will just like take your mindset down, but it doesn't have to. Here's what I'll tell you. When we have students who have failed out of a term, what they often think is that they're more likely to fail again, but the opposite is true. You are actually less likely to fail again because you already failed a term. Does that make sense? Because you already know half the content. You already know half the stuff. You just have to learn the other half. And you know what it takes, which is pretty cool. So, any of you out there who have failed a term, failed an exam, it does not mean you're going to fail an exam again. It does not mean you're going to fail a term again. The opposite is true.
Mm-hmm.
You are more likely to be successful the next time because you know what it takes.
So here's what we're going to do. If you have not yet subscribed, hit the bell so you'll be notified. We are going to be diving into these topics on Wednesday. Same time, same place. Tara, be sure to join. If not, again, subscribe and hit the bell, especially on YouTube, because all of our lives are posted after we go live. So if you missed Wednesday, that's fine. You can always go back, Tara, and watch it, because we will be talking about, failing a semester or getting back in, or the mindset thing. Again, burnout, Shannon, burnout is so real. Yes, it is, but it does not have to bring you down. So what can we do about that?
Yes.
So if you have not, be sure to follow us on Instagram and on YouTube so you'll be reminded to join us, because we are diving into those topics on Wednesday.
And our video today is on how to pass your exams in nursing school. So that's going to be up on YouTube in a couple of hours.
Yes.
Ta-da!
I will just make a thumbnail and schedule it out.
Look at that. Okay, friends, we will see you on Wednesday.
All right.
See you later.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Ta-da.